Alright, so it is the eve of battle. It is 9:30 at night before the American premiere of the Battle of the Five Armies. We are pumped. We are psyched out of our minds with excitement. Some of us will probably only get an hour or two of sleep tonight because we're so excited. But before we see the movie, I thought it would be neat to give our thoughts before and then after the movie. Of course, we'll give our thoughts after. So without further ado, well, for now we have Andrew 19, Andrew 30, and AMAFFG with us. Later on we might have some... Say hello.
Hello.
Later on we may have some other
I'm good at this.
thoughts. But for now we have these two, and of course mine. And we're playing Minecraft right now, but I was just gonna... Since it has nothing to do with Minecraft, I wasn't going to film Minecraft. I'll put a nice Battle of Five Armies poster here, if Andrew can help me do that. But for now, let's go ahead and get to some questions and answers. So, first of all, what are your thoughts about the screen time? Now, every Middle-earth movie has hovered around 3 hours or so. This one is scarcely over 2 hours and a quarter. So what are your thoughts about that? Do you think it's going to pay off well, or do you think it's going to feel too rushed? And try not to give your thoughts based on reviews you've already read, if you have read them.
I have not read any reviews whatsoever, so...
Good.
Should I answer or let her?
You should answer.
Okay, so... It took me a second based on not looking at any of the rumors. However... Not looking at the rumors, I would have expected them to still do alright. No matter how long it was, I would expect them to do good, to do it well, no matter how much screen time it did.
Right, and we've read some of the rumors, and a lot of people are saying that the last act of the movie after the battle's over and such.
Nope.
Alright, so where were we? Runtime, Andrew.
Yes, runtime. Well,
the rumors are saying that the last act of the movie after the battle is over and stuff. And by the way, there may be some spoilers in this review, but we won't try to do too many in the pre-review anyway. A lot of the rumors are saying that it feels very rushed in the last 15-20 minutes or so, unlike ROTK, Return of the King, which had like 20 different endings. So I personally think that if the rumors are true, the battle is going to feel a little too long, and that the resolution at the end will feel a little too short. But hopefully the extended edition next November will make that feel a little better.
Indeed.
And I know this isn't exactly your ballpark, AMAFFG, but any thoughts?
I just think that no matter how long it is, I think that they'll make it work. Because they seem to always do that.
Well, I've heard a rumor that there's a 10-hour version if you'd like to sit and watch that one.
Okay, that would be torture. 10 hours, I can't handle 10 hours. No matter how good the movie is.
This is not filling up. I hate that it gives you the "Are you sure" thing even when it's on Cops and Crims.
Okay, BOFA review.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying.
Okay. Next question. Now, we don't know exactly what's going to be in the movie, but out of the things that you know for sure are going to be in the movie, what scene are you scene, character, event, etc., are you looking forward to seeing the most in the movie?
Well, should I answer?
Yeah, because I think I already know AMAFFG's answer.
Okay. My favorite, by far, I'm pretty sure, is going to be the Snow destroying Lake Town / being destroyed by Bard scene, not only because of Howard Shore's Fire and Water music being just awesome, but I love Lake Town's ambience.
So you can't wait to see it destroyed. Since you love it so much, you can't wait to see it get destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably gonna be one of my favorite parts as well. But I'm also really looking forward to seeing Thorin's death and the auction at Bilbo's house at the end.
Oh, yes.
And I'm looking
for... spoiling alert from me. I don't know this stuff.
I think I know what you're looking forward to seeing the most.
What am I looking forward to seeing?
Evangeline Lilly in battle.
Ooh, yeah.
If who and Who? What?
You don't
Oh my
even
gosh,
know?
you don't know who we're talking about? You did watch Lost,
No.
right?
No, I know. Yes, she's Tariel.
Yes.
But what did you cut out? What part did you say after that?
In battle.
In battle.
You make me sound like I fangirl over her or something. Jeez.
Well, we thought you'd know her name.
I do know her name. No, I didn't hear the second part.
Okay. I thought you didn't hear thought you didn't understand the first part.
No, I understand.
Somewhat, surprising.
No, I got that part.
Alrighty.
I'm also looking forward.
Continuing
Well, I'm also really looking forward to seeing Dane Ironfoot.
Oh yes, that's my second.
Even though I've heard that he's hardly in there and that he is a CGI character,
Yeah.
which will be odd, but we'll see.
Uh-huh.
I'm still looking forward to seeing him with his epic theme.
Indeed. That's not actually Ironfoot.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also really looking forward to hearing Billy Boyd's epic song blast out of the movie speakers and make me cry.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest if I cry or not in the post review.
How nice.
And another thing I'm also very, very, very curious about are these rumors about giant worms digging tunnels in the battlefield.
Well, I don't think it's a rumor. That's a...
Yes, it's a fact. I should rephrase that. Yes, there will be...
It's a for sure thing that's in the movie.
I've been, every few days or so, because I'm really curious about Tremors and The Hobbit. For those of you who don't know what Tremors are, it was an 80s horror movie about giant worms that burrowed through the earth and ate people. And I've always
Thank you for reading that for me.
I've always been a big fan of giant worms with teeth. Same with plants. Well, really anything with big teeth.
You should love Plants vs. Zombies then.
They don't have teeth. The plants don't have teeth.
Choppers do.
Oh, one plant. And I mean, it's not scary or anything. But yeah, giant plants that eat people. It doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion. But worms are pretty good too. I mean, worms. They're pretty in real life. They're pretty docile. But if you put some teeth on them and make them eat people, I'm happy. But for the Hobbit, I don't know how that's gonna work out.
I don't know.
I think it's either gonna be really cool or just kind of like, what is this doing in this movie?
Yeah, I'm
kind of thinking it's gonna be like, what is it doing in this movie? Now we all know that Peter Jackson is a huge monster fan. His first few movies were grotesque to say the least, and then of course in King Kong, I mean, he put so many monsters in that movie that it didn't really feel like King Kong. It felt like giant monsters. Oh, and King Kong's in it too, if you like that sort of thing. Of course, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about because you haven't seen King Kong, which you really do need to see it because that is a great movie. And the original's.
Why can't you just see a billion other things?
Yeah, that one's close. That's in the top. That's in your top 5 though, for sure. And apparently there's some new trolls and orcs. He's unleashing quite a few new monsters.
Young Gothmog.
Yeah, I think that was just a rumor.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's a rumor.
I didn't hear.
I just didn't know if that was how much of a rumor it was.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything more about that.
Okay.
Any other? Oh, another one. There's a lot of things I'm really excited about, but another one that I'm really especially pumped about is Dol Guldur. I've heard that is one of the most beautifully played scenes in the movie, and it's gonna be kind of I'm gonna be really disappointed if they mess that up, and I don't think they're going to.
Indeed.
Anything else I wanted to ask you guys before we see
Let's see
the movie?
Here.
Favorite song on the soundtrack, Andrew? Last
hard.
Goodbye doesn't count.
Extremely hard, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Ironfoot.
For me, other than The Last Goodbye, which would probably make my top 5 or certainly top 10 favorite songs of all time, I'd pick Fire and Water with Ironfoot in second. Fire and Water, it's just, I don't know. Every time I hear that song, I just get really pumped up. It's awesome. Anything else?
not much we can talk about before we actually see the movie.
True. Well, I will hopefully have time to interview at least one or two other people before we see the movie. But if not, enjoy the movie when you guys see it. And from here on, if there are no more reviews, it's spoiler zone for sure. And it'll probably be a little while after the movie's been out that I get this review up. So hopefully you'll have had time to see it by then. So let's go. Alright, so now we have FHS KL1 with us and people bursting out in curses.
I said gosh.
No, you didn't.
Did I? Oh well, keep going.
So FHS KL1 will answer a few questions. And then, of course, after the movie, we will have our review at some point. Yes. So our first question is, how do you think the length of the movie is going to work? As you know, this will be the shortest Middle-earth movie of them all at 2 hours and 20 minutes compared to the usual 3-hour run length.
Do you mind if I answer all of your questions with questions?
What's that? What is your question?
Do you mind if I answer all of your questions?
He's already doing
Yes, I
it.
do mind.
He's already...
Yes, I do mind.
What was your question?
How do you think the run length is going to work with it being 40 minutes shorter than the norm?
I don't know, what do you think about it?
Are you the one answering questions? How do I think it will?
Is it gonna feel rushed or
Or are they going
or do you
to
think
do a
it'll
good
be a
job
nice
with it?
nice change from the usual Middle-earth movie when you really have to pee when it's over?
How many people will die in the space of 2 hours and 24 minutes?
Recording.
3.
3.
About 3 anyway.
Yeah.
3 main characters.
Yes.
So
You have an answer for us.
He only has
That was my
questions.
answer. Dang it, I just said it. Dang it! Ah! Okay, I lost it.
He messed
Oh well.
up.
Okay, well let's try
Yeah,
that
give up.
question.
Yeah.
Have you read the book?
Yes.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Alright, so you basically know how it will wrap up. So,
Yeah.
out of the things that you know for sure will be in the movie, what are you most looking forward to seeing?
That's a good question. I'm thinking the Eagles.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. That is an
Interesting.
interesting
I'm looking forward to the Eagles.
I do know for a fact that the Eagles will be in the movie.
Yeah.
Mostly because the Eagles theme is in the soundtrack.
And because
And the
they're in the
Eagles will
posters.
feature
They're
two
also-
characters that will barely be in the movie at all, and that when they are in the movie, they will be on Eagles.
Yes.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
Bayorn and Radagast.
just smile and nod. Smile and nod.
The smile and the... And
Sound like I know exactly.
I know I had another question.
Oh, by the way, Renchi lives like right over there.
Oh, really?
Oh, somewhere. Renchi lives somewhere in this neighborhood.
That'll be a very interesting interjection in the video.
And then we realized that we were still recording.
Yes. I'm gonna leave it in though because that would be really funny.
Yeah. ...
So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how sad will you be when it's over?
Hi.
5.
Pi.
3.14.
3.149.
With 10 being the saddest, like weeping and wailing and not being able to get out of your chair.
What's your rate?
How sad will I be when it's over?
I don't
Yes.
even know. I'm too good.
Pi is a good answer.
Like 2. I mean,
2.
I won't be horribly sad when it's over.
But you'll,
So even less
7
than
times
pi.
last
Even
night.
less than pi.
so you'll have just like a little twinge. of
Maybe
sadness.
like a half a pie. How many slices
A
of pie are
slice
we
of
talking?
pie.
So just like a little twinge of sadness.
Just maybe a twinge.
I
Maybe
didn't ask you. What do you think?
maybe a
I-
cringe or a twitch.
I don't know.
Well, this
maybe
is my interview.
1.5 pi.
1.5 pi. So that'd be 7-ish.
Oh wow, that was not as much as I wanted.
No, one and a half.
Oh, wait.
So that'd be like 5-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of pie, man.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. Okay.
Can you
I don't
eat that
know.
much pie? I mean,
I'm not positive, but maybe 1 pi. 1 pi. That's my final answer.
3.14.
Yep.
I'll probably be hovering around 4 or 5. Something like that.
4 pies or 5
Oh,
slices. I mean,
that'd be
5
above 10.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And I know I thought of another question I wanted to ask, but I can't remember. Oh, have you heard the rumor about the giant worms in the movie?
No.
Apparently, it's gonna be giant worms that dig tunnels for the orcs to crawl through.
That's
He thinks nothing is more amazing than worms.
Well, isn't that the
Well,
the? No, never mind. I don't know. What I'm talking
So,
about.
how do you think The Hobbit meets Tremors is gonna feel?
I don't know.
Do you think it's gonna be epic or just
I've
kind of weird?
never seen or heard of Tremors, but I think I understand the concept.
Okay, there's a movie with these
With
giant
worms that dug
and
holes in the ground.
they ate people.
Ate people.
I don't think they're gonna eat people in this movie, but
Yeah, they just help the orcs out.
yeah, and then they leave.
Yeah.
And they don't taste very nice, does they, precious?
So I know. Oh, are you looking forward to seeing Dane Ironfoot?
I completely forgot about Dane.
Well, I
don't
guess
know
we'll
how
ask you
I'm
that
not
after the
Yeah.
movie.
Kind of
Yeah.
sitting here.
All right.
I'm
so-
really
I was
excited
thinking
to
the
see
same
him
thing.
again.
Are
Boy,
you
am I excited! I can barely
actually
contain
myself. Like,
All right.
person and, like,
So
their excitement.
after the
So I'm
movie,
kind of
we will be
trying to
back with
stay
our
in, like,
main review.
Dun, dun.
understanding what they're saying.
4-second
because
pause.
I'm having a little bit of trouble.
Sharing their joy.
Yes.
All right. Well, hopefully you saw the pre-review and picked up on all of the tension and excitement in our voices before the movie. We have seen the movie now. It's been a few hours, so we've been able to digest it a little bit. And I'll have to be honest. Out of any Middle-earth film I've seen, this is the one that needed the most digesting. I had to crank out.
I have to agree.
I had to crank out the stomach acids, didn't you? Bring in the waterfalls.
I have not fully digested it yet, even now.
Yeah, ever since I got home, I mean, I've been thumbing through the book a little bit here and there, and pacing and thinking about it for the most
it's
part.
hilarious. Like, you know that my mom is into Tolkien a little bit.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire day while I was working on French, my mom was looking through one of my Hobbit copies.
Even my mom was looking at reviews. She hated it. She absolutely hated it.
Wow.
But as for us, I mean,
Hated the reviews or hated the movie?
no, the movie.
Oh wow.
But as for us, I mean, no offense, but we're not too concerned with mom reviews. We're concerned about hardcore Tolkienite reviews at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we're going to be honest and tell you our opinions. It'll probably be quite extensive. For now, it'll just be a review by me and Andrew 19, Andrew 30. Maybe later on we'll have a review by Feanor and maybe some other people, but we'll have to see.
I'd actually say FHSK1 before Feanor.
What do you mean?
I mean, say as in we would get it quicker.
Probably. Well, I mean, we're going to see Feanor tomorrow, but we probably won't be able to do a review.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe I'll bring my camera. We'll see.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh yeah. Okay.
We'll see. But anyway, so we don't know what Feanor thinks yet, and of course he's kind of my other right hand man. So we'll have to see. He saw the movie, but we don't know what he thought because he had to go to a Christmas party. So he didn't really have time
And he
to tell us
didn't
his
go
thoughts.
with us to the movie,
Right, he couldn't go with us to the movie. Alright, so just know that this is a review, so of course it's going to be chock full of spoilers, so if you don't want to spoil the movie for yourself, cut it off here. We might have already said a few things in the pre-review. I'll make sure that in the description I put spoiler alert in big bold caps. And one
Like CinemaSins, spoilers, duh.
yeah, spoilers, duh. And I hope you don't mind, but we're going to play some Minecraft while we review, so if you hear a random clicking, it's not random. It's just, it's Minecraft clicking. Alright, so...
I've even turned off my Spotify so I can hear you correctly.
Yeah, I turned mine off,
This is
too.
getting serious.
Yes, this is getting serious. Where to begin? Yes. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. No.
Yes.
Well, speaking of hobbits, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is I thought this was the Hobbit, and yet there wasn't. Well, there wasn't really a hobbit in it, was there?
Are you sarcastic or not? I don't know.
No, I'm not being. Well, I'm being sarcastic
Well, I mean,
and serious at the same time.
Oh.
I'm saying something serious
Well,
and a
officially,
sarcastic
Bilbo
way.
does make an appearance. If that's what you're asking, I
Well,
don't know if
yes,
you're
of course
joking or
of course
something.
he's in it, but he's. Do you think he was in this one or?
He's not in a lot for being the main character and the character by who it is named after.
Do you think that he was in this one or T-DOS more? It's about the same, wouldn't you say?
That is, I would say he might actually be in T-DOS more. I'm not
Really?
positive, but just thinking about it, that's my thought.
I was actually leaning toward this one a little more, but both of them, he's certainly not in it as much as he is in Ouch, Unexpected Journey.
Yes.
But this film, I did do a very mini review on the OneRing.net, but I didn't go into nearly as much detail as I will in this video. And the main thing I pointed out in my mini review is that in Desolation of Smaug, Peter Jackson started going down a different kind of road for his Middle-earth films. Unexpected Journey was definitely, it definitely had a Lord of the Rings feel to it still. Desolation of Smaug still did, but it was starting to lose something. It was still a great movie, but it was starting to lose a little bit of its magical Middle-earthy charm. But it was still, it was just a tiny little bit, just something was beginning to unhinge. And in this movie, the hinge kind of broke. Oh. We'll be right back because I've lost the Skype connection. Okay, sorry about the interruption. So as I was saying, in Desolation of Smaug, although it was still a great movie and still had its Middle-earth feel, there was just a little something wrong, a little hinge that was beginning to crack, if you will. And then in this movie, that hinge took a big crack. In fact, it almost cracked wide open, but not quite that far. But we'll do this Oreo cookie style. That being, we'll talk about a few things that we really liked. Then we'll get into
Oreo cookies. I have a taste for Oreo cookies. I'll be right back.
Seriously?
Just a second.
Okay, well, I'll explain about Oreo cookie style. So we'll say a few things we liked. Then we'll get into the stuff we didn't like, which unfortunately is going to be a pretty long list, I'm thinking. At least on my end. And then we'll get back to some good stuff. And don't get me wrong, it still has a ton of good stuff. But out of all the Middle-earth films, it's definitely the one I have the most problems with, for sure.
Double stuffed Oreo cookies are the best.
Okay, well, now you'll hear clicking and crunching in this video as well.
Okay, continue, Bilbo.
Alright, so how about we do this? Let's start out by picking our 3 favorite scenes and our 3 least favorite scenes. So,
alright.
Why don't you go and pick first?
Oh, gosh. I'm pretty sure that the entire Smaug Lake Town thing will be one of them. And I think the scene where Dane starts to come, like, you see his army, and then, okay, and then one more, well, I really love for some reason really loved the auction with the There and Back Again music connected to it. It just seems just so awesome.
Alright. 2 of those I agree with, one of them not so much. But definitely Smaug is in the top 3 for me too, but the other 2 I think will be different. The other one I think another one for me is going to be Thorn's descent into madness. One scene in particular which I'll talk about later. And another one. And I just died. Wow. I'm usually good at this game. I'm too focused on this right now. Okay. 3rd one. I would have had one in mind, but something kinda ruined it for me. So it's not going to make my favorite, and it's not going to make my least favorite category. I'll talk about that scene later. You may know which one it is already. But my another favorite scene. I know I had one picked out, and I can't remember what it was now. It's probably in the first half, because I personally think the first half was a lot better.
Yeah, me need to. First of all,
Alright, well...
I guess I'll...
Hmm?
I just want to say, I don't know if this is not fitting in this review or not, but when the rumors were saying about they were making the elves seem like the heroes and everything, I did not 100% agree with that.
It wasn't quite as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
They were still in there a lot. But
but just not like... The dwarves can't do anything right and the elves have to clean it up.
Yeah. And the last like 15 minutes of the actual battle, it was one of my least favorite parts, which is pretty sad because it should have been one of my favorites and it just wasn't.
What was the last? Well,
when everyone dies.
Takes so many forms. So.
When everyone's dying.
What do you mean by everyone?
Keely, Azog, Bolg, Thorin.
Oh, okay.
All the main characters, you know. But yeah, I was saying that about the scene earlier that wouldn't make my top 3, but since I can't think of anything else that really stood out, I think I am going to go with that, even though I did have a problem with it, and that would be the Dol Guldur battle.
I like the Dol Guldur battle.
Most of it was completely epic, just like I expected. There was just one thing that really bothered me about it, and I will get to that later.
The Galadriel part, I'm guessing?
I guess we won't get to it later. Okay, we'll go and talk about that now.
Never mind.
No, that's what it was, Galadriel. Well, of course, Galadriel and Saruman and Elrond, and fortunately Radagast. I was glad to see him there, because I didn't think he was going to be there, based on the rumors I heard.
I was glad to see that as well.
It wasn't very much, but I'm glad he was still there at least. So, of course, they come there, they rescue Gandalf and get him out of his cozy little cage. And then the 9 Ringwraiths come, and Elrond comes in saying, "You should have stayed dead," and there's an epic battle. But then it gets kind of weird after they, defeat, in quotation marks, the Ringwraiths. And then Sauron comes, and things get a little strange. Galadriel gets into this, possessed state.
I don't know. It seemed like the Mirror of Galadriel to me.
It was definitely reminiscent of that, but it was even weirder than that. And I actually looked at some comments on the OneRing.net, and I was not the only one that thought this. They almost made her look like a teenager that has one of those strange addictions to dead things. Those teenage, those weird teenage girls that like dead things and kind of hold themselves up in their rooms and don't talk to anyone. They made her look like one of those people. I'm surprised you know what I'm talking about, but at least you do.
Disney Channel.
Oh, there we go. Disney Channel. For once, Disney Channel comes in. Disney Channel comes in handy. So yeah, they kind of made her look like that. Not act, but look like that, and that kind of bothered me. And then the way they went about it, it almost felt like an exorcism. It was like they were exorcising, not exorcising, Sauron from Dol Guldur. And then she falls back and acts all tired like one of those seer people do after they've done one of those things or whatever. Sauron looked awesome. Galadriel, a little strange. But that was the only thing that I didn't like about Dol Guldur. And the fact that I went by a little too fast. Oh, and one other thing. One of the Ringwraiths looked like they were wearing one of those court jester hats.
Well, that's Peter Jackson.
Yeah, apparently that was Peter Jackson's cameo. But you know what a strange guy he is, so I guess he felt like donning a court jester-ish Ringwraith hat. So, why don't you go and talk about one of your favorite scenes now?
Okay, well, I still have a lot of time to go before I can fully talk about my favorite part, because I have to think about it and everything, but
Yes, is that Tolkien fans?
I guess I'll talk about Smaug then.
Okay.
First of all of you know I love Howard Shore's Fire and Water track, so seeing Lake Town with that track is just amazing. Yeah,
a lot of people said that was the best scene in the movie, and unfortunately, it's the first scene in the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that they actually should have attach the beginning scene of this movie to the end of T-DOS. I don't know how that would have gone.
Yeah, that might have been a little weird.
Yeah, I agree. And then, of course, I would have taken 20 minutes of runtime from one movie and put it in another movie.
Yeah.
Which would have made this movie even shorter, at around exactly 2 hours, as a matter of fact. Because that scene lasts about 15-20 minutes or so. Something like that. And even that scene had a few things I wasn't crazy about.
Well, the thing I wasn't crazy about is when the rumors were saying about the Windlands being destroyed when Smaug attacks, they meant the bell tower, right?
I think. I'm not sure, though.
It's showing Smaug, like, destroying the top of the bell tower. Because that is not... It did not have the Windlands on it. It was the bell tower.
I never saw the Windlands in the movie. Did you?
Yeah, you remember when Thorin and company first come to Lake Town and they look out Bard's window and they see the Windlands?
No. I meant this movie.
Oh, this movie. No, I didn't. So, yeah, that's... Yeah.
How would I know about the Windlands if I hadn't seen it in the last movie? It's not in the book. But even that scene had a couple things I wasn't crazy about. The main thing being the way that they take out the Master of Lake Town. That he actually dies in that scene. And as soon as Bard shoots Smaug kind of does like a 20-second death.
Well, I mean, it's one of the last huge dragons of Middle Earth being killed. It's going to be dramatic.
Of course. I actually think they could have made it a little more dramatic, honestly. And then, as soon as
you're complaining about it being long, so...
No. I was actually complaining about it being a little too short.
Oh, you were?
With 15 or 20 seconds. After he's done with his death throes, he falls from the sky and lands right on top of the Master in one of Peter Jackson's weird comedy attempts. Which, a lot of them in this movie are oddly placed. And some of them are just odd, period.
Yeah.
If you thought...
especially the Alfred scene.
Yeah, if you thought...
That was the weirdest thing that I saw in the movie.
If you thought I could have anything down my trousers from T-DOS was weird, well, it gets weirder. It does, and we'll get to that later. But overall, the opening sequence is absolutely amazing, and it kind of makes the rest of the movie feel anticlimactic, which of course everyone was worried about, and it's kind of hard not to make it feel anticlimactic, honestly. But of course, in the book, there's only a few chapters left after Smaug dies. In this, we have an entire movie. So, but overall, great scene. So we kind of killed my scene and his scene with that. So we'll move on to what was your other? Oh, Dane. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I won't have much to talk about, but it was a really cool part where it showed the Iron Hill dwarves heading towards Erebor, the dwarves in Erebor cheering. That was pretty cool. But again, Ironfoot the track would have done great in that scene.
Yeah, the actual bagpipe portion of Ironfoot was not in the movie at all, which is very disappointing. Because we stayed for the entirety of the credits, and we had a few friends that were, well, antsy to say the least, with us.
Yeah.
By the end of the credits, but yeah, we didn't hear it, so it was weird. But
well, again, the Ironfoot that we heard is the Ironfoot extended version, so I can only wonder if the Ironfoot regular version doesn't have any of that. I don't know, but I haven't seen it before, so...
It's on Spotify.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, yeah. So
I highly doubt that they take that part out. But maybe I'll try and look at that for the soundtrack review. I like the actual entrance of the Iron Hill Dwarves, but I really was not crazy about their portrayal of Dane, and I was a little shocked by it, honestly.
Well, you mean the word that he spoke, or...
Words. He's a pretty crude dwarf, as a matter of fact. With his...
More than one?
Well, that was the main one. He says a certain B word that doesn't really feel very Middle-earthy. especially after how we've seen the last. And then I think he said H a few times too.
Oh, okay, well.
But I was definitely taken aback by that based on the other movies up to this point. And then
the B word, yes, definitely for me as well.
And then, yeah, they were right. Dane's face was CGI, which was.
I am horrible at telling CGI because
If you don't know about it, you're probably just gonna think the lighting's a little off. But if you do know about it, then I think it's kind of noticeable in the upper face. But see, I wasn't crazy about Dane's character or his portrayal in this movie. And then my other favorite scene, or scenes I should say, were Thorin's dragon sickness. Other than the opening scene, I thought those were the most masterfully done scenes in the entire movie. They were done expertly, I thought. One scene in particular where Thorin is walking on top of that golden lake that they created at the end of the last movie.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's kind of like the climax where he finally realizes that he's becoming a crazy dude that is forsaking all of his friends. Kind of takes him a little while to figure that out. And then he has this vision that he's like seeing Smaug underneath the gold, and the gold is swallowing him up and stuff. It's a pretty neat scene, I think. And I have to say that other than the opening scene, I think it was my favorite.
I don't know what my second favorite opening. I think my second favorite is the older.
It would have been if it hadn't been for Goth Galadriel. But yeah, that was a scene I was not aware of, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. Which was good because I was unpleasantly surprised by a great deal many other things, which we should get into now.
Yes, we should. Let's talk about how the movie's so horrible.
So, the first thing that comes to mind is Alfred.
I thought I did not expect any less from him except for the part.
I don't know. I thought his whole character seemed slightly different and not as good in this movie.
What do you mean by different?
Well, as soon as the Master dies, what happens is they're on the Master in the opening sequence. The Master and Alfred are on this boat that's absolutely laden with gold because they're trying to escape with their treasure from Lake Town while Smaug's destroying it. And they realize that their boat is too heavy and they're starting to sink and they can't exactly maneuver it properly. And so Alfred says, "Well, we need to dump some weight." And the Master says, "You're right," and he tips the Master off of the boat. I mean, Alfred off the boat.
No, he tips Alfred off the boat.
He tips Alfred off the boat, and then, of course, that's pretty much the last you see of the
It would
Master.
have been hilarious if he tipped himself off the boat. That would have been so selfless of him, though.
I know, I would have really liked him then. And then, that's pretty much the last you see of him, except for his death scene, where Smaug lands right on top of him and either drowns or crushes him. So then after that, Alfred just kind of goes crazy. He's like groveling all over the seashore or the lake shore after Smaug. The next morning after Smaug's destroyed Lake Town, and then he starts following. He's kind of like starts stalking Bard.
Well, I have a feeling like with that, it's that he's afraid of getting torn to shreds by these people that hate him, so he's trying to act as if he's in favor of Bard, so Bard will protect him.
Probably. It's like he doesn't know what to do with himself if he doesn't have someone over him. And then, once the battle starts, Alfred's character gets really strange, because he wants to stay out of the battle so bad that he actually dresses up as an old lady and hides with the women. And then in this very strange scene, this one woman says, "We should go help the men," and you never actually see them do that, which is even stranger. But then Alfred's like, "Oh, you wouldn't harm an old granny, would you?" or something like that. And then they realize his voice sounds odd, and they take his little hood off and realize it's Alfred sitting there, which is kind of creepy. And then it gets even creepier the next and last time you see Alfred. Would you like to tell us about that, Andrew?
I would not, actually.
Well,
I would love to hear how you managed to say this without it being entirely creepy.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be pretty hard. You kind of have to see it. You kind of have to see it to know exactly what I'm talking about. But Alfred just finds a bunch of gold coins after a pot splits open or something, and then Bard catches him trying to stuff all these garments, or I mean coins in his garments, and well, the coins take on some interesting shapes.
Indeed, some shapes which the name of which we will not talk about.
Would you like to tell us, Andrew?
I would not, but I think the audience can guess.
Well, they can guess after my next clue, which is, well, they make him look even more like a lady.
Yes, that's a great clue.
I'll say no more. It's an attempt at comic relief, and yes, we did start laughing hysterically, especially after they say, well, Alfred, why are you such a coward? And what exactly did they say again? Something like,
I don't remember.
It takes a brave man to don a dress or something.
Oh yeah, no, Alfred says that.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, they're taunting him, and that's what he says. So yeah, and then I think that's the last time you see Alfred, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
At least in the theatrical version, which I don't know. A lot of characters just kind of get dropped off in the middle of the movie, or middle-ish end. Dane is another one. You don't see him very much after they go to
Radagast, obviously.
Well, at least he's there at the very end of the battle.
Oh, you mean the Eagles?
Yeah, when you see him on the Eagle.
I don't count that as the very end of the battle.
Well, yeah.
There's still the whole Azog thing.
And I did like that you got one last glimpse of Rosgabel. I thought that was kind of neat.
Oh, yeah.
Gandalf and Radagast ride to Rosgabel, and then Gandalf from there rides off to the mountain. And then they kind of leave Saruman off, where he's going to try and track down Sauron, and of course we all know what happens then.
And I'm sad that they did not include an explanation as to how he became evil.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that was the place for The Hobbit, honestly. It's kind of like its own side story between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. But let's go ahead and start heading towards the inevitable conclusion of the movie, which was probably had some of the most ridiculous scenes out of any Middle-earth movie. Correct?
Probably.
Legolas riding bats, Legolas defying gravity on falling staircases, Legolas plunging a dagger through a thick orc's skull, a thick skull of an orc. Well, it's pretty much all Legolas. Tauriel should have died like 5 times, shouldn't she have?
Uh-huh.
I mean, how many times did she hit her head? She had like a gallon of blood on her at the end there, and yet she doesn't die. She should have died, though. Right? Everyone would have been...
It would have been better for both of them to die.
Well...
But then...
Most people would think...
Well, I meant both of them, meaning Tauriel and Keely.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, most people would think that, but actually in Middle-earth mythology, they wouldn't be together even if they died. Which is kind of really sad. And actually, I'm gonna die in like 10 seconds. A lot of characters in Middle-earth that you think would be very happy together in the afterlife will never actually see each other again, which is really odd. Like, Frodo and Samwise, technically, unless the Valar are nice, should not see each other in the afterlife at all. But that's a different tale. And I like to think that doesn't happen, honestly. Everyone has a happy ending when everyone dies. But where were we? Oh yes, Tauriel falling down like 10 staircases and not dying. Which is kind of silly.
It's just it's really weird how like they get so much damage. They hurt. I'm just gonna say take so much damage. and they don't get hit at all. They don't look like they're hurt at all, and then suddenly they look like they're gonna die.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They should be sustained. Their damage makeup or whatever should be applied as damage is being applied.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And then yeah, there's some real wacky Legolas scenes. If you thought him taking down that Oliphant in Return of the King was kind of ridiculous, and the skateboard slide at Helm's Deep, I think he kind of tops that, don't you?
I don't know. The staircases of that definitely are up there, but I'm not positive.
The bat I could deal with, but the staircase I couldn't. That was just too over the top.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, I've seen something just like that in Star Wars.
It was not really him defying gravity. It was him slowing down time.
Yeah, slowing down the staircase crumble. But yeah, the entire sequence where Legolas kills Bolg. Yes, Legolas kills Bolg, not Beorn. I really did not like that. I didn't like how that all went down. And it seemed kind of anticlimactic. It's just like they're fighting, and all of a sudden there's a dagger in Bolg's head, and he falls down, and a rock crushes him. Just oh, there he goes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's actually a lot of the deaths in this movie feel like that. A lot.
Yeah.
In fact, almost all of them. Feely is another one that is just like, what? Okay, he's dead. No one cares except us that actually like these movies. Literally, I mean, Feely's death, other than the whole Alfred thing, and actually maybe over that even, was I think probably the worst thing in any Middle-earth movie. Almost, anyway. What do you think?
Feely's death?
Yeah. Feely.
What?
Feely, not Keely.
Yes. Well, I did think his death was very sudden and not really like, now he's dead.
Yeah, and then he just like falls from this tower after getting stabbed, and bye-bye Feely. You don't see him ever again. Now, in the extended edition, I think we will. I think we're going to see some...
get beheaded?
No, I don't think that, but I think we're going to see some nice funerals.
Okay.
For Feely and Keely and Thorn. I think we'll probably see Dane being crowned king under the mountain, too. The thing is, he made so much time for all these battle things that he didn't leave enough time for the proper ending of the actual book. So, then Keely's death... it's almost as bad, but not quite.
Nah, not quite. I mean, Feely's death is...
It's more...
No,
it's more emotional for sure.
Is trying to... Yeah.
Definitely better. And Thorn's death is the best for sure. Keely, I mean, you do see him again after he's dead, and you see Tauriel mourning his dead body and making this... Well, it's one of those Star Wars Episode 2 kind of speeches, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean?
I do not, but I like the love was real type of thing.
Yeah, that over-the-top gushiness that just feels odd, and no one would say ever. Yeah.
I was still in it!
What?
I was still in that one!
I can't hear what you're saying.
I was still playing that match.
Oh, okay. And Thorin and Azog on the frozen lake. I'm still trying to decide if I like that or not. What do you think?
I thought Azog's bit. I thought it was okay. I thought it was cool, just like something I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would undermine it, but it was cool.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know how to... It's like... Well, take it with a grain of salt. That's what I'll say. Because it's like... He has this huge chain-like thing that like the Witch King of Angmar had in Return of the King. And they're on this big ice floe, and you see the ice cracking, and all of a sudden Thorin and Azog are standing on this ice floe, and Azog slides underneath the ice, and everyone's like, what? That's it? But then it's even more ridiculous when you realize that he's crawling under the ice, holding his breath for like over a minute, and then he bursts out through the ice and the battle continues.
Well, after stabbing Thorin in the foot.
Oh yes, I
the
forgot
ice.
about that. But then the actual climax of the battle is pretty cool. Azog stabs Thorin, and then his last burst of strength, Thorin stabs Azog and kills him. And then for a moment, for anyone who hasn't read the book, you think that Thorin might live, but then of course he falls down again, and well, you know how it goes. And the scene between Bilbo and Thorin is pretty good. What did you think at the end?
1 second.
Almost cried. In fact, my eyes got a little wet, but I didn't actually start bawling. Are you there? Oh, he's not there. So what did you think of the Thorin Bilbo scene after Thorin killed Azog?
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good. A little short, but still pretty good.
I thought the Bilbo's farewell to the dwarves could have been much, much longer.
What could have been longer?
Thorin's farewell to the dwarves.
You mean Bilbo's?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yes.
Wrong name.
Yeah, after Thorin dies, basically after Azog dies, the last few minutes of the movie go by very quickly, especially compared to ROTK, which went on for like half an hour, and most people absolutely hate it. This goes by pretty fast, and there's this scene where Bilbo says goodbye to the dwarves, which is pretty good. And I looked through the book again, and it's actually taken directly from the book, some of the lines. And Bilbo's line especially, where he says, you know, tease it forward, and you can come whenever you want, you don't have to knock or whatever. It's a good scene, but it does, after spending 9 hours with these characters, more than 9 hours if you have the extended editions, it does seem a little quick. The return journey is ridiculously short. It makes it look like it's just a short hike, maybe a couple hours walk from Erebor back to the Shire, when in fact I think it was 7 months. 7 months that goes by in about 7 seconds. But I do think that scene will be extended, and that was one of those scenes that you look back on and realize that's oddly paced, and you realize, okay, that's going to be in the extended edition for sure. And I even thought that I saw like Beorn standing in a field while they were on their return journey. And it has been confirmed the extended edition for BOFA will be about half an hour longer. Slightly disappointing there. And it's the only spoilers that Peter Jackson is giving is that there will be more Beorn.
Okay, that's good.
That's all he said so far. And Richard Armitage came out and said that there's this very emotional scene that will be added, and I'm assuming that's going to be the funeral. And then once Bilbo gets back to the Shire, I really like that last like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The last 5 minutes were very well done. I like the auction, and then I like the transition back to old Bilbo. And at the very end, there's direct quotations from the scene in Fellowship of the Ring, when Gandalf comes to visit Bilbo on his birthday, and that's where it cuts off, and Billy Boyd comes on singing the last goodbye. And for the huge gap that we kind of skipped in the middle of the movie, it's just a lot of preparations, Bilbo stealing the Arkenstone, a lot of Thorin's madness, but there's not a whole lot.
And almost throwing Bilbo off the side of Erebor.
Well, yeah, I kind of expected that, though.
Yeah.
Because that's in the book. And not a whole lot of the other dwarves. I'm
just trying to say it. I'm just saying it.
Well, yeah. And then there's not a whole lot of the other dwarves. The only other dwarf that we haven't really talked about...
Go ahead.
The only other dwarf that we haven't really talked about too much that gets notable screen time, I'd say, is Dwalin.
Yeah.
He's in there substantially.
Dwalin had decent time.
Not really, it's just the last scene, really. It's really just that last scene.
Well, like, Bilbo asking him, would it be better or worse for Thorin to have the Arkenstone?
Oh, I forgot about that scene. Yeah, I guess, yeah, so Balin and Dwalin. You just gonna stand there or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, oh wait, is there like? Oh.
Wow,
I didn't know there
thanks.
was a guy right there.
So, any other thoughts about the movie you'd like to throw out there before we get to the rating?
I don't think so. Not right now, at least.
Alright, first of all, we'll rate the movie on a scale from 1 to 10, and then we will place it either 1 through 6 between the other 6 films. You don't have to say which ones are above or below if you don't want to, but if you want to, you can.
Should I? I'm horrible at the 1 through 10 thing, but I'm pretty good at the 1 through 6 thing, so.
Alright, well, for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, most, like, Return of the King is a 10 for me. Fellowship of the Ring is a 10. Two Towers was about an 8.5. I don't know. Just felt a little slow to me. Ouch was probably about a 9, and T-DOS was probably about somewhere between 8.5 and 9. This one was probably an 8.
I am not one to classify those things between 1 and 10. I'm just gonna skip to the 1 and 6.
Oh, come on, something approximate. I mean, was it a perfect 10, or was it a complete dud at 1?
I'd say 8.
So, same as me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, for me, the thing that's funny is this is going to be harder for me, and the last rating was harder for you.
Yeah.
For me, Return of the King will always stay at number 1, followed by Fellowship, and probably then T-DOS. And then I put Battle of the Five Armies, so it's number 4 for me.
I would say it's number 3 for me. Return of the King, I think, will be number 1, and then T-DOS I liked just a teensy bit better.
Same here. But not Fellowship of the Ring, huh?
Fellowship of the Ring's not, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
With Return of the King, the afterthoughts were what did it. Like, wrapping it up a lot. I really like that.
Yeah, Return of the King definitely had much better wrapping up qualities than this one did. So, that was our opinion. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention, real quick, was the Earth Eaters.
Oh, yes.
Kind of forgot about them because, well, they were in the film for literally about 15 seconds. So, they were talking, there was a rumor came out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, about these giant worms that will dig tunnels in the battlefield for the orcs to crawl through. Yes, they were in there, and they kind of had like this build-up scene to them that made it sound like they were going to feature prominently in the film at Gundabad. And then you actually only see these things for about 15 seconds, literally. They just burst.
And it's right after Dane comes,
yes.
So it's like, you see Dane, you're like, oh yeah, Dane, and then they suddenly just show these worms.
They just burst out of a hillside with teeth and flailing, and you think, oh, this might be cool, and then they're gone. Bye-bye giant worms. It's kind of like, okay, if you're going to come up with something new, you either got to use it, or you just got to throw it away. Not just bring it in for a few seconds and say bye-bye. And then some of the new trolls and stuff I thought looked really weird.
Well, they're supposed to look weird, aren't they?
Yeah, but even by Middle-earth standards, they just look kind of strange to me. I didn't think it was what nearly was not Alan Lee and John Howe's best. And actually, it might have been some other art designer. In fact, it probably was. I know they hired a lot more art designers for The Hobbit. So, that was our review of the film. Please tell us what you thought below in the comments if you've seen the film. What would you change? What would you keep? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you somewhere in the middle like we were? And hopefully we'll get some other thoughts on here soon from some of our other favorite guest stars. Yeah, overall, you definitely want to go see it. It's certainly better than almost anything else in the theater these days. Especially if you see all the trailers before it. Gosh, what a load of crap.
Well, there's one movie that I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing.
Jurassic World?
Disney movie.
Which one?
Well, I mean, I had, Wikipedia, first of all, is awesome on showing what's going to be released for Disney movies. So when they released the sort of plot of the movie Tomorrowland, I thought it would be pretty cool. Actually, I have no idea about the plot. I just thought it was a cool movie.
I'm sorry, but how do you make a movie out of a section of a theme park?
Well, we will find out soon enough.
Okay. And you are excited about Jurassic World, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. I love that music. That music's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that they don't blow Jurassic World. And of course, we're not saying that they blew this movie. Just that, well, they could have done a little better for sure.
Yeah, we had high expectations.
And they were just a little... Just a little taken... We were just a little taken aback by it. And the thing is, the critics... You know how the critics absolutely hate these movies, even though they're some of the best movies ever. The thing is, this one that we dislike probably almost the most is one of their favorites.
Wow.
But of course, these are the same people that are saying that awful movie Interstellar was great. If you haven't seen Interstellar, then don't see it. It is just one of the weirdest movies ever. Although I know a lot of people like weird, so I'm just speaking for myself. But anyway, this video has been long enough with the pre-review and then the review, and if I have any other reviews on this video, which I probably won't because it's already been so long. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Still definitely go see it. It's not one that you'll wait to see on DVD or anything. Just know that it's not the greatest Middle-earth film of all time, which we both agree on.
Yes.
So, we will see you next time. Merry Christmas.
Indeed. Merry Christmas.
Happy BOFA watching.